What if starting your very first garden from seed didn't actually require grow lights, heat mats, a greenhouse, or a spreadsheet tracking every single variety, but instead just a few packets of the right seeds, a sunny spot, and a handful of simple habits you could genuinely stick with? Stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to simplify your first seed garden into something you'll actually finish, and how to keep everything you grow healthy from that very first sprout. If you've ever picked up a seed catalog, felt immediately overwhelmed by the sheer number of options, germination charts, and specialized equipment recommendations, and quietly put your gardening dreams back on the shelf, you're genuinely not alone. Seed starting has developed a reputation among beginners as something complicated, reserved for people with dedicated grow rooms and years of experience. But the truth is that plants have been growing successfully, from seed, in the ground, for millions of years. Without any human intervention at all, the complicated equipment and techniques you see online are optimizations, not requirements. A genuinely simplified first seed garden strips away everything non-essential and focuses on the handful of factors that actually determine success: the right seeds, the right timing, the right light, and consistent basic care. Let's start with choosing seeds that are genuinely forgiving for a first attempt, because seed selection alone prevents most of the frustration beginners run into. Direct sow vegetables, ones planted straight into garden soil rather than started indoors, are significantly simpler for a first attempt, since you skip the entire indoor seed starting phase with its lighting and transplanting requirements altogether. Green beans, radishes, zucchini, sunflowers, zinnias, and cosmos are all classic examples of seeds that germinate quickly, tolerate a range of conditions, and reward beginners with visible results within just a couple of weeks. Save the more finicky, slower, or indoor start required varieties, tomatoes, peppers, and certain flowers with very specific germination needs, for a future season once you've built confidence and basic skills with these more forgiving options first. Now let's talk about actually simplifying the planting process itself, rather than agonizing over a complex garden layout or elaborate raised bed system for your first attempt. A simple, small patch of prepared ground, or even a couple of large containers, is genuinely enough to learn on. Clear your chosen area of grass and weeds, loosen the top few inches of soil with a hand fork or small shovel, and work in a bag of compost if your soil seems particularly poor or compacted. Read the seed packet's spacing and depth guides. They're genuinely all the technical information you need, and a simple rule of thumb applies broadly across most vegetable and flower seeds: plant a seed roughly twice as deep as the seed itself is wide, and space according to the packet's mature plant size recommendations, rather than crowding everything in tightly from day one. Timing your planting around your specific region's frost dates is one of the few details genuinely worth getting right, since it has an outsized impact on your success. Compared to almost anything else, most warm season crops and flowers should go into the ground after your area's last expected spring frost date, while a handful of cool season options, peas, radishes, lettuce, can actually go in a few weeks earlier while soil is still cool. A quick search for your specific zip's average frost dates gives you genuinely all the timing information a beginner needs. There's no need to track soil temperature with specialized equipment, or follow an elaborate planting calendar for your first simplified attempt. If you're working with a small patio, balcony, or genuinely don't have any in-ground space available, containers work just as well for a simplified first seed garden and require essentially the same approach. Choose a container with drainage holes, at least a gallon in size for most vegetables and larger flowers. Fill it with a quality potting mix rather than garden soil, which tends to compact too densely for good container drainage, and follow the exact same seed packet guidelines for depth and spacing that you would for an in-ground bed. Container gardens do tend to dry out somewhat faster than ground plantings, so you may find yourself watering slightly more often. But beyond that single adjustment, there's genuinely no additional complexity involved in starting seeds directly in containers versus a traditional garden bed. Building a simple, sustainable, routine matters more for long-term success than any single technique or piece of advice, since a first seed garden that gets forgotten after the initial planting excitement fades rarely produces the satisfying results that keep someone gardening long-term. Rather than trying to remember watering and check-in times purely from memory, many beginners find it genuinely helpful to attach garden care to an existing daily habit they already do, reliably checking the garden right after morning coffee, or right before heading out the door for work. This kind of habit stacking, borrowed from behavior change research more broadly, makes consistent care feel like a natural extension of your existing routine rather than one more separate task competing for your attention and willpower. It's also worth giving yourself explicit permission to keep your very first seed garden genuinely small. There's a strong temptation among excited beginners to plant an entire yard's worth of seeds all at once, but a smaller planting that you can realistically tend to consistently will teach you far more and produce a far more satisfying result than an overly ambitious garden that becomes overwhelming to maintain within the first few weeks. Since a single 4x4 foot bed, or even just 2 or 3 containers, planted with a handful of genuinely easy varieties, gives you every bit of the learning experience and satisfaction of a larger garden, without the risk of burnout that so often derails beginner gardening attempts before that first satisfying harvest or bloom ever arrives. Now let's talk about light and temperature, because these two factors genuinely determine more of your garden's success than any other variable. Most vegetables and flowering annuals need 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight daily to germinate well and grow into strong, productive plants, so choose the sunniest spot available in your yard. Even if it's not the most conveniently located, sunlight matters more than convenience for a thriving first garden. As for temperature, most common seeds germinate reliably once soil temperatures reach somewhere between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which for most of the United States lines up naturally with planting after your last frost date, meaning simply following the frost date timing already accounts for temperature without requiring any separate tracking or specialized tools. There's genuinely interesting scientific research behind why simplicity actually works so well for beginner gardening success. Studies in behavior change and habit formation have consistently found that overly complex systems with too many steps or too much required equipment significantly reduce the likelihood that someone actually follows through and sustains a new activity. Essentially, complexity itself becomes a barrier separate from the actual difficulty of the underlying task, which explains why so many well-intentioned beginner gardeners with elaborate seeds starting setups abandon the project partway through. Not because growing plants is inherently difficult, but because the system they built around it became overwhelming to maintain. On the plant science side, research in seed germination biology has shown that most common vegetable and flower seeds have evolved remarkably resilient germination mechanisms, requiring only adequate moisture, appropriate temperature, and, for most species, minimal light interference at the correct planting depth, meaning the actual biological requirements for successful germination are genuinely simpler than the elaborate setups often marketed to beginners might suggest. There's also meaningful research on the psychological benefits specifically tied to watching a plant grow from seed. Studies on nurturing behaviors and personal well-being have found that witnessing the complete life cycle of a plant, from seed to sprout to harvest, provides a distinct and measurable sense of accomplishment and connection to natural processes, a benefit that's genuinely available to a beginner growing a handful of simple seeds, just as much as it is to an experienced gardener running a complex operation. Watering correctly during germinations is one of the few areas where a bit of consistent attention genuinely matters, since seeds and young seedlings have shallow, undeveloped root systems entirely dependent on surface moisture. Keep your newly seeded area consistently moist, not waterlogged, watering lightly but frequently, often once daily in warm weather, until you see seedlings emerge, since allowing the surface to dry out completely during germination can kill emerging sprouts before they've had a chance to establish. Once your seedlings reach a few inches tall and develop their first true leaves, beyond the initial simple seed leaves, you can gradually transition to less frequent, but deeper, watering, checking soil moisture with your finger about 2 inches down, and watering whenever it feels dry. This encourages roots to grow further into the soil in search of moisture, ultimately producing stronger, more resilient plants than shallow. Frequent watering alone would, fertilizing and pruning, for a genuinely simplified first seed garden, can stay refreshingly minimal too. If you worked compost into your soil before planting, many fast-growing annual vegetables and flowers need little to no additional fertilizer for their entire first season. A single balanced, all-purpose fertilizer application once your seedlings reach a few inches tall covers most of what a beginner garden genuinely needs. Pruning is similarly simple for most seed-grown annuals, deadheading spent flowers on things like zinnias and cosmos. Encourages continued blooming, and pinching back the growing tips of young plants once or twice early in the season encourages fuller, bushier growth rather than a single sparse stem. But beyond these two simple habits, there's genuinely no need for elaborate pruning schedules or specialized tools for a first-season seed garden. Even with a simplified approach, beginners occasionally run into a few common problems, so let's troubleshoot the most frequent ones without overcomplicating the solutions. If your seeds aren't germinating after the expected time frame listed on the packet, check that your soil hasn't dried out completely at any point, since even a single missed day during germination can be enough to prevent a seed from sprouting, and simply replant a fresh seed in that spot if needed rather than assuming something more complicated is wrong. If seedlings emerge looking tall, thin, and pale, reaching dramatically toward one direction, this typically indicates insufficient sunlight, and relocating your planting area, or simply accepting that particular spot works better for a shade-tolerant crop next season, resolves it far more effectively than trying to compensate with additional care elsewhere. If some seeds in a row germinate while neighboring ones don't, this is completely normal. Seed germination rates are rarely 100%, even under ideal conditions, and simply filling in any obvious gaps with a few extra seeds a week or two after your initial planting keeps your row looking full without requiring you to start over. And if pests discover your tender new seedlings, a simple physical barrier, a piece of lightweight garden fabric laid loosely over a newly seeded row, protects germinating seeds and young sprouts, without requiring any chemical intervention at all. What makes a simplified first seed garden such a genuinely smart starting point for beginners is that it removes the barriers that cause so many well-intentioned gardening attempts to quietly fizzle out before they ever really begin. By choosing forgiving seeds, focusing on the handful of factors that genuinely matter, sunlight, timing, and consistent basic watering, and letting go of the elaborate equipment and tracking systems that so often accompany beginner gardening advice, you give yourself a genuinely realistic chance of actually finishing what you start, and more importantly, of experiencing that first satisfying moment of watching something you planted from a tiny seed grow into a flower you can cut for your table, or a vegetable you can actually eat. Take a moment to genuinely notice and enjoy that first sprout when it appears. That small, quiet milestone is honestly the entire reward that keeps most lifelong gardeners coming back season after season, and it's available to you just as fully on your very first attempt as it is to someone who's been growing from seed for decades. So pick 2 or 3 forgiving seed varieties, find your sunniest spot, check your local frost date, and plant your very first seeds this week. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and trust that the plants genuinely know what to do from there. Your job is mostly just to give them sunlight, water, and a little bit of patience, and before you know it, you'll be looking at a small but genuinely thriving garden that started as nothing more than a few seeds and a decision to keep things simple. If you love learning about seasonal flowering plants, vegetables, gardening tips, and nature care, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nature Nurture Hub. your home for year-round garden inspiration. Let's keep growing together.